Hey Garrick, this is swim footage. Let me rewind that. This is swim footage in half speed right now from your December 8th, 2018 LPC swim video analysis session. Let's look at it in half speed and we'll look at it in full speed and then we'll pause it, do a bit more of an analysis. We talked on deck, or I guess actually in my basement. We agreed that the stroke is looking quite good. That one of the major areas for you to focus on was something similar that we saw with Jack, and that's a little bit of asymmetry, and you can see it right now where you're leading the roll a little bit more so from the shoulders and the torso, and the hip is lagging behind slightly. Overall, the roll is pretty good, but we can optimize it and get it just that little bit better by leading the roll from the hips, having symmetry so that if you lead from the hips, the shoulders and torso will follow the lead of the roll, and the objective will be so that all three roll at the exact same time and roughly the exact same amount. We're going to watch it again now in real speed. Stroke rate is looking pretty good. Body's position is looking good. It looks like you're breathing every 3 there. Usually, for short course races especially, I would anticipate that you would probably breathe unilaterally, more so than bilaterally, but breathing mostly unilaterally, and once in a while breathing bilaterally so that you can see your whereabouts on the other side and to occasionally balance it out. So just be mindful of stroke rate when you're swimming at a high or breathing frequency when you're swimming at mid-race pace or at a higher intensity. That entry is pretty good. We almost see a little bit of an elbow drop right there though. So we'll take a closer look at that when we look at the side of your stroke. That entry, not a crossover by any means, but getting a little bit close to that center line. So maybe aiming for, and I'm splitting hairs here because that entry is pretty good. It's a nice flat hand, but maybe entering just an inch or two wider. Kind of rolling over that barrel, getting into a fantastic EVF very quickly and in the stroke. So that's wonderful to see. We're not seeing a lot of bubbles. You're pushing backwards in the water. One thing I talked about is that it almost looks a little bit, it's pretty darn close, the angle. I keep on thinking it's a little bit excessive, but then it's actually pretty close. I'm trying to think if you could get even slightly better. It's about bang on where we want. So my comments, I think, that I made in the basement and stuff where I thought it was almost a bit too much of an angle, maybe not so. It's pretty ballpark exactly what you want. That entry, pretty much right where you want it again. So the left arm and right arm pretty good. Here, it's going wide, sweeping outwards. Then it does a good job getting EVF and pushing out, but of course right here we would like it to be about right there. So it's pretty close, but has a tendency on that left arm to sometimes be just a little bit wide. You can see what I wanted to see on the side footage. There's your elbow. There's your wrist. trying to get some EVF going, then the elbows gets in a good spot. But we can see how we want to try to get that EVF even a little bit sooner. So trying to make sure that that hand is a little bit lower in the water and that the elbow is right here when you go to start the catch phase. Same thing on the left arm. You get into a nice elbow bend in EVF right now, but at the very, very start, that elbow was almost dropped. It quickly corrects itself, but at this point right here, oh, let me clear all these lines here. At this point right here, I would like to see some EVF in that angle right now. Now, part of that can get solved. You see the rotation right here and right here. There's a little bit of that asymmetry. It's not, these are all minor points, but there's that little bit of asymmetry. And if you can get that timing with the hips and the torso, I think that that is ultimately going to help the timing of the catch and the EVF as well. Snorkel. Broken 200s and 400s with the snorkel will be good. Shark. I know you do a ton of shark. I would say, though, that the pull buoy still has merit. And if you're going to do shark, do more broken 100s and 200s with it. You don't need to swim more than 100 meters at a time with the shark. And instead, I'd like to see more like 50s and 100s where they're broken so that you can immediately reinforce the roll from the shark to regular front crawl. Body position looks good. I'm wondering if head position sometimes is just a touch high. It looks like it is. Sometimes you're looking forward a little bit. So maybe be mindful of that, especially when you're swimming with the snorkel. You can see right now. So that could be another thing where the head position is just slightly high. So I would say some all minor points with the roll, with the head position, with the start of the catch, and trying to get that EVF at the very start, making sure that when you start that catch, that the hands are roughly 8-10 inches below the surface of the water, and that will help to get the elbows up a little bit higher at the very start of the catch. Overall, the stroke is looking really, really good, but we can make it just that little bit better and just that little bit more efficient. All right, happy swimming. Keep at it.